I know of many that lost their son, daughter, brother or sister, mother or father. It never really hit home till I lost my own child.
It doesn't matter who you are, everyone is being affected. The violence has to stop.
We are survivors in the streets of Boston, walking together for a change.
It started with pain, then it became so much more than that.
Coming together to say we are here, our stories are not forgotten, we're not forgetting each other.
I walk for my son, Robert Marquise Brewington Pringle.
I see you, and I am here.
Johnny Tykeem Davis III.
I see you. I am here.
For my nephew, Levy Bennett.
My brother, Herman Taylor III.
For my cousin, Alvin.
I see you.
Who was like my little brother.
And I am here.
I am here.
I am here.
We're walking for peace. We're walking to keep love in the community.
Even though we've lost somebody, they still live on. We still live on. And that we can live on.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, let's get some high energy going in here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, welcome to the community briefing for the 29th annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace. I'm 35, so I started when I was 6. Anyway, I'm Rick Rendon. I'm with the Rendon Group, and the Rendon Group has had the privilege and the honor of working with the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute for, I believe it's 14 years now, on helping to produce the Mother's Day Walk for Peace. My role this morning is to convene this amazing gathering. Take a look around this room. We are filled to capacity. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, but before I convene the meeting, just a couple quick shout outs. First of all, I have to say this. Madam Mayor, your presentation in Washington, D.C. made us all feel proud. And Commissioner and Mayor Wu, together you have made Boston the safest city in the country. Thank you. And finally, before I leave, I just want to say a big round of applause for all the staff that make up the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. So without further ado, it is my honor and privilege. I was going to give a 20-minute presentation on introducing the next individual, but I cut it down to 20 seconds. Please welcome the very talented co-executive director of the Institute, Rachel Rodriguez.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's like a family reunion in here. Good to see you. We are so happy to be here at the Hampshire House, and I want to give a huge shout out to the Hampshire House Hospitality Group, and most especially Mr. Tom Kershaw, who you'll see around today. Please thank him. He has been supporting us and sponsoring us to host this event here year after year. So just one round of applause, please, for the Hampshire House and Tom Kershaw. And I can't believe this is the 29th annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace. We're celebrating 30 years of the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute this year, and this is our 29th annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace. So let's give it up for that. And the Mother's Day Walk for Peace is one of our biggest fundraisers at the Peace Institute. And the money we're raising is to help us expand our services, support beyond Boston and in Boston, enable us to reach more survivors, young people, returning citizens, providers across the state, the city, and around our country. But this walk does not happen without all of you. the survivors who are here, who are walking in memory of their loved ones, the providers here who are committed, our elected officials who are here, supporting all of us to do this work. And I just wanted to, of course, recognize our mayor and our commissioner who are here today, as well as State Representative Chris Worrell, who's here this morning. Thank you for being here. We have representatives from the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. State Representative Sean Garbelli is here, so thank you for being here. And also representatives from City Council President Ruth C. Louisiana's office. So thank you all so much. Also, this walk is made possible not only by all of you and the teams and the team captains, but by our dedicated sponsors. So bear with me. We have some incredible sponsors that I want to share with you. And they are Rick and Gita Shea, Beth Israel Leahy Health, Josie Green and Glenn Ash, Stan Griffith, who's here today, thanks Stan, and Ann Schaffler, the Hampshire House Hospitality Group, the Martin Richard Foundation, Trinity Church of Boston, Arbella Insurance Foundation, Eastern Bank Charitable Foundation, Yale Appliance, and UMass Boston. So thank you all so much for our sponsors. And Boston Medical Center and also the New England Patriots Foundation, thank you so much to our sponsors. It's Women's History Month, and we have some incredible women on this program and some incredible men who have our backs. So let's get into it. To kick things off, it's my pleasure to introduce two of our esteemed co-chairs, Pat Focarelli and Cindy Diggs, whose leadership and dedication and vision continue to drive the success of the Mothers Day Walk for Peace. For over 10 years, Beth Israel Leahy Health has been a champion of our mission, and we're thrilled to welcome Pat Focarelli back as co-chair of the 29th Annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace. Come on up here, Pat. I've got a few things to read about you. Pat is the Senior Vice President for Patient Care Services at Beth Israel, and Pat brings not only her leadership, but also her passion for advancing peace and well-being. Thank you, Pat, for being here.
Thank you, Rachel. Thanks for
Good morning.
Thanks, everybody. Great to be here with all of you. I'm going to keep it pretty brief. Rachel, great introduction. I didn't know you were going to say anything about me. There you go. Thanks for your leadership and commitment to such an incredibly important mission. We're so grateful for the work of the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute and for your advocacy in the community and for inspiring us to get involved, to be part of this movement. To you, Chaplain Clementina Cherry, and the entire Peace Institute family, all of us at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, thank you for caring for our community, especially those who have been impacted by murder, grief, trauma, and loss. I'm proud to be with you and stand here to honor Louis's memory. Also, thank you to you, Cindy, great co-chair with me. We have a lot of fun together, challenge each other a little bit. And Beth Israel Deaconess, as Rachel said, is really honored to be a proud sponsor of the walk again this year. As the Chief Nursing Officer at BI, I see every day the impact of violence on our patients, on our staff, on their families. So it's an important mission for us in caring for the people in our community. At the Medical Center, we've partnered with the Peace Institute for more than a decade now, including this Peace Walk, but also through programs like the Homicide Support Services and our ongoing collaboration with Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center's Center for Violence Prevention and Recovery, and the Bowdoin Street Health Center, our community health center in Dorchester. We're stronger together, leveraging our combined expertise to help support families of homicide. Together, we make sure that families have the medical and mental health care that they need, the emotional and practical support that they need to cope with physical, emotional, and financial stress that they face to help them begin the long journey toward healing, which is our mission as a medical center. I'm energized again to be part of this year's walk, to bring the members of my community together to walk again on Mother's Day, which we're looking forward to show our strength. And as a healthcare institution, BIDMC has an incredible staff, and the caregivers work tirelessly to support our patients and our families in the greatest time of need. But our work doesn't stop at the medical center. We recognize that along with partners like the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, we're also committed to cultivating cycles of peace for us and for the next generation. We have an example of the next generation right here in the first row. So thanks for welcoming me this morning. It's an honor to be part of this and to be with you here again. And I'll turn it back to you, Rachel. So thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Thank you so much, Pat. It is my pleasure to introduce our other co-chair, Miss Cindy Diggs. Cindy is not only a leader in this year's Mother's Day Walk for Peace, but she also plays a vital role behind the scenes, working closely with all of you, the team captains, and also leading Mass General's fundraising and participation in the walk. Her passion and commitment to peace and community engagement is truly inspiring. By day, Cindy serves as the Community and Cultural Engagement Manager at Mass General, but to so many, she's best known to be Boston's Peace Commissioner and also founder of Peace Boston. She's been recently inducted into the Berkeley Music Hip Hop Hall of Fame, so that's pretty cool. So her work has been instrumental in fostering unity, healing, and hope across our city. Please welcome Cindy Diggs. Come on up here.
Thank you, and of course I came in my hip-hop swag. Just celebrated 30 years in hip-hop on March 3rd, the beginning of Mother's Month is in May, but Women's Month is right now. So of course I'm gonna be the one to say it. If anybody's gonna have the elephant in the room, it's gonna be me. That's right. We know that. Thank you, Uncle Melty. Peace is political. So while our country's budget is being slashed by Edward Scissorhands, we have to use a different strategy. A strategy that has been very effective for me over my 30 years of hip-hop activism. We have to fight Doge with Dio. So for all of us Spanish-speaking folks here, how do you say God in Spanish? Dios. Well, growing up in Mission Hill, we said, ay Dios. So in this case, it stands for do it ourselves. Simply raise a minimum of $250 by asking 10 friends to donate $10. If we have 200 teams, which we need to get back to that, it's been a few years since we've had 200 teams. If we have 10 people that raise $250 each, we'll raise $500,000. It's as simple as that. Get a team, 9 friends, ask 10 of your friends for $25. Imagine what we could do if each walker raised $500, $1 million. We're on a road to 1 million. Why? Because we have to do it ourselves. We don't know what budget is going to be here next week, never mind next year, right? So either join a team, sponsor a team, but most importantly, share a team's link with your network. Our future goal, the closest to it, is going to be $700,000, $100,000 for each principle of peace, and we can do that together. Peace out. Peace out.
All right, thank you so much to our co-chairs. And it is my honor to introduce this remarkable leader, Donella Clark, whose unwavering dedication to community empowerment and advocacy has made such a profound impact. As co-chair of the Peace Institute's Campaign for Peace, Donella is helping to lead the $25 million fundraising effort to bring the Peace Institute's vision for life for a new center of healing, teaching, and learning, ensuring that survivors of homicide victims, returning citizens, young people have the support and resources they need to heal, grow, thrive into the next 30 years and beyond. Beyond her work at the Lucy Brown Peace Institute, Donella is a dynamic force in philanthropy and leadership. Her deep commitment to equity, access, and opportunity is evident in everything she does. Her passion for building stronger, more peaceful communities is truly inspiring, and I know this work is personal for her. Please join me in welcoming Donella Clark. Thank you so much. We're so happy to have you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy early Mother's Day, and thank you, Rachel, for the warm introduction. You know, I think back to what Taraji P. Henson said when she lost her son's father, who was also murdered like my brother. Grief is love with nowhere to go. I've tried to live a life of taking my trauma and having it have a place to go. So I am deeply grateful to Tina and the Peace Institute to have the opportunity to do something that I love doing, and that is raising money, quite frankly, to advance extraordinary missions. So again, happy early Mother's Day to all of you. Happy Women's History Month. I am so happy to see my dear friend, Mayor Michelle Wu, who, Rick, you're right, she did an incredible job last week. And to see Mira here with her, I asked her, I'll let y'all in on a little secret. I said, Mira, where did the name come from? And she said, Mira is their miracle baby. So for those of you who didn't know the meaning of Mira, that's what it is. And then Commissioner Cox, you know, I asked the commissioner, my only brother was robbed and murdered on November 13th, 1989. And in 1989, there was 100 murders. In 1990, it was at the height, 152 murders. And back then, only 47% of the murders were solved. Many of us know the legendary Mary Franklin, who really led the effort for our city to try to solve or bring light to the unsolved murders. But when I think about what Commissioner Cox has done, especially over his tenure in leadership with bringing down, in 2023, we had 37 homicides, which is still too much. But my data shows that at least the solve rate went up to 66%. I know what that's like for families. I was talking to Dr. Thea James, again, another good friend, and when my brother was murdered, they took him to what was then called Boston City Hospital. And with all that's going on with our country, the removal of DEI, the removal of all of the things, I said to Thea, I will never forget BMC, most of my career is in healthcare, so Pat, like Commissioner Cox, my care is at Beth Israel. Why? Because Beth Israel is one of the few places that I could find a Black primary care physician, but I've worked at Children's, I've worked like Cindy is at Man's Greatest Hospital, I spent 9 years at Mass General Hospital. Most of my career has been in healthcare. And I said to Thea, I'll never forget, BMC had a tagline that they deliver exceptional care without exception. And to this day, I could remember, Mayor Wu, when my brother was murdered, again, he was robbed, he gave his wallet, 3 bullets in his back, 100 yards from my mother's home. We know that pain. So Tina, they whisked him to Boston City Hospital. No one came and told my mother right away. So by the time we got there, it was like a movie, y'all. I still remember it. The doctors, because they have exceptional care without exception, they didn't have my parents walk in and say, where can we find Conrad James? The doctors was waiting there. And I'll never forget, because I was in my 20s, the elevator door opened, and they said, not to any of us, they knew a mother's heart. They said, Mrs. James, we lost him. They didn't say he died or what have you, and that always stood with us as a family. And I wish back then we had a Peace Institute. So it is for that reason that I am so proud to partner with my co-chairs to try to raise 25, but not even try, we're gonna do it. The first meeting, can I tell you all, we are like a third of the way there. Our first meeting was with our Honorable Mayor, Michelle Wu, who said, Tina Dinello, what can I do? The city has stood up and helped. My good friend, State Representative Chris Worrell is here. So we have some public funding, thanks to Chris's leadership. We have a lot of private funding. It's amazing, right, Rachel, what we've been able to do in like 14 months. And before the end of this year, we will have shovels in the ground. And for the next little Dinella that needs a place to convene or just to have peace. I met a young man here, Tina, I'm sure he's somewhere in the room earlier, and he shared his story with me. He was on the other side of it. Y'all, I gotta tell you, it took us as a family a long time to forgive, because when they catch the person who did it, you've got to go to, you know, parole hearings and all of the things, and I had felt like our person was just getting hardened. But the person I met here this morning, he told me, he said, you know, I was on the other side of that, but then while I was incarcerated, I lost 2 of my brothers to homicide. And you know what I said to him, Tina? I said, have you made peace with the family? And he said he did, and I was so proud of that. So I am delighted to chair the campaign as we go on. Some of you in the room may be saying $25 million is a lot, but everyone can get involved. As soon as we get the shovels in the ground, we're going to have opportunities for you to honor your loved ones at smaller dollar donations, meaning I don't know what we'll come up with, right, Tina? Maybe $500 for a brick, or you know, $100 to name a chair or something like that. But we want everyone to be involved. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for walking in honor of whomever. This year I will walk. I lost my beloved mother on June 26, 23, and that pain never went away. And I remember, Tina, when you came and asked me, remember we were sitting meeting, Tina came and asked me to chair the campaign. And at the time, remember, I was just coming from Beth Israel Hospital, where we knew my mother had terminal cancer. And Tina was very good in terms of, Danella, we want you to do this, but we get it. But I felt like I would be doing this in honor of both my mother and my brother. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Danella. People who are personally impacted by this, who are leading the way, thank you so much. It is an honor to introduce this trailblazer. She's somebody who in healthcare, really, at the Peace Institute, dignity and compassion for all, that's our thing. And this is somebody who saw that and implemented it, not only in Boston, but is working to implement that across our country. Dr. Thea James, as Vice President of Mission at Boston Medical Center, Dr. James is deeply committed to transforming healthcare beyond the walls of hospital. She works with caregivers across BMC and forges strategic alliances with local, state, and national organizations to develop innovative models of care, ones that recognize deep connections between health, economic mobility, and equity. Her leadership is rooted in a vision where healthcare is not just about treatment, but it's about empowering communities to thrive. She is dedicated to addressing the upstream drivers of health disparities and ensuring that every patient and every family has support they need to reach their full potential. Dr. James and Boston Medical Center is one of our sponsors. She is also on our cabinet for this campaign, and she is going to come up here and talk about why the hospitals play such a crucial role in this. So thank you, Dr. James. Come on up here.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, everyone in this room, for supporting the annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace and the Peace Institute's mission. I was just saying to someone this morning, I feel like, well, I think I was saying it to Rick, I feel like I can't remember a time when we did not have the Peace Institute. I can't remember a time. And, but I do remember when we sort of organized at Boston Medical Center and realized what we needed, and you are exactly what we needed beyond that moment in the hospital, in the emergency department. I am honored, so honored, to be a part of the organization and to serve on the cabinet with Danella, Rick, Peter, Keith, and the other volunteers. Mayor Wu and Commissioner Cox, it is always great to see you, and thank you for your leadership. I'm also so pleased to see my colleagues from the other hospitals here today. And Beth Israel Deaconess, you are the largest contingent every year. of the hospitals at the march. And we share a very special partnership with Tina and the organization to support survivors and their families. Our goal is to continue deepening that relationship in support of the Campaign for Peace. And VMC, as you heard, is a sponsor, along with Beth Israel Deaconess, but we challenge other hospitals to do the same. Pat Folcarelli and Cindy Diggs, thank you again for your leadership as co-chairs for the walk. And you have set the pace for all of us to work a little harder for the walk and for the Campaign for Peace. Thank you all again for your volunteerism and for making this one of the most successful walks in our city. I can assure you that the hospital community will continue to be partners in our success, and we're looking for more opportunities to support the critical programs that the Peace Institute provides to our citizens. Tina, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this Campaign for Peace. You have assembled a great cabinet, co-chairs, outstanding staff, and the momentum of volunteer support shown here today amplifies our pathway to success. So thank you again, everyone, for walking with us for peace.
Amen. Thank you, Dr. James. Now, is there any doubt that we are going to raise this $25 million with leaders like this? None. Thank you so much, and it is my pleasure to introduce, I think, the very first staff of the Lucy Brown Peace Institute ever in the history of ever at the Peace Institute. My brother, my friend, also the senior producer at the Lucy Brown Peace Institute, Luis Antonio Thompson, and he's going to share some details about this year's walk with you.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all, checking in with love, hope, and courage this morning. And I will discuss all things logistics, so let's get to it. This year's Mother's Day Walk for Peace takes place on Sunday, May 11th, 2025. Registration kicks off at 7 a.m. Program begins at 8 a.m., and the walk kicks off at 9 a.m. from Townfield in Dorchester, located at 1565 Dorchester Ave, just a short walk from Fields Corner Station. This year's walk, we're excited to announce, is a 5K. There you go. Yes, we'll see all that good, fun stuff happening. This year's walk is a 5K, and featuring a new route in our beloved Dorchester community. We begin in Townfield, walk up Geneva Avenue, turn right at Bowdoin Street, left at Hamilton Street, left on Columbia Road, onto Washington Street, then down Bowdoin Street and onto Westfield Street, past the site of our future Center of Healing, Teaching, and Learning. Back down, that's it. Back down Geneva Ave and ending at Townfield, where we will celebrate with music and fun, flowers, and we end the day pretty early so that everyone can kick off their Mother's Day festivities. Along the way are hydration stations and rest stops, there we go, providing walkers with water, a chance to catch their breath, and words of encouragement to keep moving forward. For those who need a rest, a bus will be trailing the tail end of the route. It's free to everyone who would like to be picked up along the route and dropped off back at Townfield. And along the way, we encourage you to check out the Peace Trail. It's a collection of public artworks that honors victims of violent crimes and cultivate new cycles of peace in their names. These are the 6 poles that we will walk past. Those are the love, unity, faith, hope, courage, and justice poles, along with the artists and survivors who designed them. So please, we encourage you to snap a photo and use the hashtag Peace Trail. And we look forward to expanding this, and one day we dream of all the poles in our beautiful city to be adorned with all of this artwork that uplifts these principles. So, next slide, please. Yes, on the screen are ways to get involved. Our toolkit has everything you need to know on how to start a team, fundraising tips, and information on how donations make an impact. Our sponsorship guide has all the info you need on how to sponsor the walk. And in your folders are the gold form, which is your chance to let us know how you and your organization can support the walk and our work. So please take a few moments to fill it out. Every action, big or small, makes a difference. If you prefer to fill this out online, just scan the QR code on the form. Now, about registration. This year, register by March 30th for a free Mother's Day Walk for Peace tote bag. Perfect for carrying essentials like water bottles, snacks, a light jacket, whatever you need. And this year, we're also excited to announce swag as fundraising incentives. So for every $250 raised, you earn a free t-shirt. For every $500 raised, you earn a free hoodie. More details about that will hit your inboxes soon, so be sure to register at mothersdaywalkforpeace.org. And on April 27th, we are hosting our second annual community kickoff and day party. This is a fun party with music, food, raffles, and so much more. It really gets us in the walking spirit, and we'd love for everyone in this room to join us and bring a friend or two or three or four, and whoever spread the word, however you can. And in conclusion, this is more than a fundraiser. It is a movement. As Rachel said, I've been involved with the organization. I was its very first volunteer, and I'm proud to say that. Pardon me. And so it reminds us, especially in times of division, that our city's greatest strength is how we come together. Through love, unity, faith, hope, courage, justice, and forgiveness. This year's walk will be exciting and energizing and encouraging, and so let's have a good time and raise $600,000 so that we can keep doing this work. Thank you all.
Is real, y'all. I'm really excited to introduce my co-executive director, Alexandra Dorellis. Mayor, leadership is hard, isn't it? But you don't have to do it alone. So, without further ado, my co-ED, Alexandra.
Good morning. Thank you all. Thank you, co-ED. That's my big brother, y'all, who you just heard up here. So thank you, Luis Antonio, for coming up here and always showing us your heart. I learn a lot from you every day. Hi, baby Mira. Hi, Mira. I can't wait to say hi to her. It is an honor for me to introduce a leader and a dedicated advocate for community-centered policing. Boston Police Commissioner Cox has been an integral part of this walk for the past 2 years, bringing his presence and his deep commitment to fostering safety, empathy, and trust within our communities. With decades of experience in law enforcement and a lifelong dedication to public service, he has worked tirelessly to build bridges between the Boston Police Department and the communities that it serves. Under his leadership, the focus has been on strengthening community relationships, promoting transparency, and ensuring that public safety is rooted in trust and mutual understanding. Commissioner Cox understands true safety isn't just about enforcement, it's about engagement. It's about listening and creating spaces where everyone feels valued and everyone feels protected. Please join me in welcoming Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox.
Well, that was very kind. So, good morning, everybody. Now I want to start off by just, saying to, any survivors and folks that work at the Louis D. Brown Institute, and obviously, Chaplain Cherry, your courage, and every time I go to a space and there are folks in the room, it reminds me of why I do this work. It reminds me of why I love this city. It reminds me of how important it is for us to be together and work together. You're inspirational. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for what you do every day to make Boston safe. We talked earlier a little bit about how it was before. So I've been in the city for a while. We had, and obviously any homicides too many, but we had 24 homicides this last year. before the Louis D. Brown Institute was up, we had over 150. You know, people opined about the old days sometimes, wanting to get back to something. I don't want to get back to that. It was a horrible period of time. I lived in the city. I worked in the city. It was a horrible period of time. You know, our police department is working every day to make sure that we show the humanity that we need to show to do the job we're here to do, to serve the public. And we have to do that together. You know, we're the safest city in America because of all of us, not because of the police, just the police department, certainly because of the leadership of the mayor and all the city services that are actually there to try to meet the needs of people so they don't revert to crime and things of that nature. But the Louis D. Brown Institute is so important. You know, trauma teams are so important. All of the people, you know, the hospitals are so important. There's so many people in this room that contribute to us being where we are today. I can't even thank you enough. But I think it's important for you to understand is that we are a safe city because of all the work that you all have done and continue to do every year, year in and year out. And so I want to give you all a round of applause for what you do. Secondly, Chapman Chair, a little side note here. You know, we had an incident the other day where an officer, you know, doing tremendous work, tries to stop an act of violence. Unfortunately, someone dies. You know, one of the things that we do as a police department, I think is important, is to always show our humanity, because the fact is, showing empathy and sympathy for family members when there's lost a loved one is what a human is supposed to do, period. And sometimes you do this work and you get beat up, bombarded by news media and all this other stuff all the time, and they want to make you second guess what you do and how you do it. Clearly the mayor, you know, certainly understands this. I understand this, I think the DA understands this, but you wrote a letter reminding me of, you know, you did the right thing and the importance of showing humanity to family members and survivors, because that's just the right thing to do. This work is hard, and letters like that provide the fuel to be able to keep up and come show up every day, you know, delivering my best self to try to do this work. And thank you for what you do around that, because we need that kind of leadership more than ever before, because we got a lot of stuff going on, and there's a barrage of trauma being thrown out in different ways and spaces to all kind of groups of people in this world. And your leadership is valued and needed, and I thank you for that as well. So, and lastly, thank you, Mayor. This is the first time that actually in public with her at the same time. I want to thank you for, you know, representing the city, fiercely representing the city like you did down in D.C. Particularly since it all started because some public safety thing, a comment that I made, I think, in some way. You know, I feel a little responsible, but the fact is that I've never been prouder to be a Bostonian, to see you represent the city and actually, you know, speak truth to power as the way you did when you were down in Washington. So thank you. So everyone, I appreciate, you know, you being here, and I'm assuming that we're all going to be out there for the walk coming up here in May, and so thank you for doing that and volunteering and creating groups, because this work is so important. You know, not only dealing with trauma, but, you know, creating love and spaces of healing and things of that sort. We need it as a city. The world needs it more so than ever. So I want to appreciate those of you all who are involved in actually getting groups together to make sure that we go out and show out for the Louis D. Brown Institute here, because the work is so important as a city. And as you hopefully grow and develop and take the show on the road, the world needs it. The United States needs it. There's no doubt about that, because there's a lot going on, and peace and love and healing is something that we all need. So thank you for your support. We talked about a little bit about the police department and our focus on community policing. We basically address crime and fear of crime through actually holding people accountable, but more importantly, through working with the public to build trust, Because when we have trust, we have communication. When we have communication, we actually know what's needed and how we can work together to solve problems. And that's really the goal of what we're trying to do on a daily basis. I think we're doing okay. You know, we have a ways to go because we're not perfect, but I appreciate all the partnerships that we have in general. When we ask for help, people are there to help us as a city. When we asked for involvement, when we asked for people to step up, people have been doing that. I'll give you an example that our text a tip, there's been a culture in the world around, no snitching, no talking, no whatever. Our tips have gone up over 300% in the last 2 years. 300%. That is really, really important because without that, we can't solve crimes, we can't prevent things without the public's input. Unless we're actually standing there, we just can't do it. And the fact is that we're not trying to target everyone, but we do want to try to target the drivers of violence. And through your help and through this kind of help, we're able to do that to make sure we remove the ones that are actually doing the most trauma in our city, doing the most violence in our city. And I think that's tremendously important. But as a community, I can say that I don't think we've ever done better as far as enlisting others, in making sure the city's safe by working together, and then also being there to listen to the needs of the public. Right? That is the goal of every officer that's here. That's what we're trying to do. Every new one that comes on. And we also want them to also represent the city that we serve, to look like the folks that we're patrolling and working at, to be from the same religions, background, cultures, and things that affect. And so with the mayor's help, we're doing a great job of doing that because diversity, regardless of what you might hear out there, makes for better decision making, makes for a better community, and it just makes for just better everything, if you ask me. So again, I just want to thank everybody for what you're doing here to make the Louis D. Brown an institute that should stand on high for the rest of the country, and what you're doing for the Peace Walk here, the 29th year of the Peace Walk. I've been in this business 36 years, so I was there before it ever started. But the point is that I couldn't imagine our city without both the Peace Walk and the Louis D. Brown Institute. We wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you all. Thank you for your commitment to peace and safety, and thank you for listening. Okay.
We were just doing a little dance. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for keeping all of the walkers safe out there on Mother's Day, and for Boston Police Department's support while we're out there. I didn't get to say Happy Women's History Month to you all. Y'all saw me sneak in. So Happy Women's History Month. I am just so honored to be here and to hear all of the different speakers from this morning and be up here with all of these amazing women and to look out at all of the amazing women too. Speaking of amazing women, did you guys see our mayor when she was in DC eat those people up? Okay. She ate them up, and then she said, "Where's my baby so I can handle more business?" Mayor Wu is not new. She's not new to this at all, and she's a dedicated advocate for equity, healing, and community resilience. Mayor Wu has stood with the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute and this community for years. First as Boston City Councilor, then as Council President, and now as my mayor of Boston. Through every step of her leadership journey, she has been a powerful voice for peace, for justice, and the well-being of every Bostonian. Her vision for Boston is one of inclusion, opportunity, and collective healing, and she has worked tirelessly to ensure that our communities have the resources, support, and policies needed to thrive. Her advocacy for peace and violence prevention, support for survivors, and commitment to addressing the root causes of harm reflect the very mission of this movement. We are incredibly grateful for your continued leadership and partnership in this work. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Michelle Wu.
Yes, and
it's great to have some Republicans for lunch, right? Okay, this is not a political event. Not a political event. Look, I am deeply honored to be here each and every year. It's the time when we come together and say, I can't believe a year's gone by already, and also just to steel ourselves up and say, we're gonna make it even bigger, even more powerful than the year before. I want to reflect just a little bit on what I've learned over the last couple weeks. You know, when I had just had the baby, actually 2 or 3 days ago, when we got the letter that said I was expected to go to Washington, D.C. on that quote-unquote invitation. And at first I didn't know what I was going to do. Clearly there's a lot to balance, and even just doing the job here on the ground in Boston is far more important than any of the show that this was clearly going to be down there. But then they started to threaten our city. Then they started to target Boston in all sorts of news media, online, in various ways. And then when they went after our police commissioner, I think the whole city stood up and was like, we are not going to tolerate bullies coming at us, not only because of Boston's spirit and how much we are going to always say and do and speak out for the right thing, but because we care about each other. And because it's important to tell the truth, that when there are some out there who are questioning safety and whether those of us who might look different from them make our communities quote unquote less safe, Boston is actually proof of what safety is. Boston is proof that when we all come together, when we all focus on each and every one of our community members, on the healing that's necessary, on the compassion, the love, the courage, the faith, the hope, the trust, that is how we show every other city the pathway forward. And so I was very proud to go down to DC, raise my right hand, swear to tell the truth, and then say that Boston is the best city on the planet. You know, baby number 3 has made this quite a fun year for me. And you know, my boys are 7 and 10 now, and so they're just over the moon, amazing big brothers. But becoming a mom again, going through all the diapers, all the overnights, it has reminded me, one, of how precious life is, how much it matters. It reminds me of how powerful a mother's love is. I will do anything to protect this little one, the world that she deserves when she grows up, and all of us who deserve to be in this community that will create the right pathways for our little ones to thrive, to grow, to become the best version of themselves that they want to be. And the beauty of the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute is not only that you do that every single day when no cameras are there, in the most challenging moments, all hours of the day, but every year you also make it possible for everyone to tap into that power of a mother's love, to be part of putting one foot in front of the other and making a difference in the community, raising some dollars too, here, Miss Cindy, and making sure that we are seeding the ground for healing to take root generation after generation. You know, when I don't know how many people might have experienced this when you're either raising a child or giving advice to someone from the next generation, you start to realize, like, oh, the words coming out of my mouth are my mom's words, right? Like that moment of like, oh, how much we're connected to the generations who have come before, and how much each generation's actions and love or trauma or opportunities pass down to the next. Whether or not we intend it to, it's the cycles that we're given and the cycles that we move in. And so to disrupt cycles that might pass down things that we know we can do better on takes so much intention, takes so much community, takes so much power and love, and it really could only happen with the force that is Chaplain Clementina Cherry and this amazing team and all of those who make up the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. So I'm so grateful that we live in the safest major city in the country. We do so because of the amazing leadership of our commissioner and our officers. We do so because of a recognition in Boston that safety is about health and wellness and housing and all the things that families need. And we are the safest city also because Mother's Day isn't for breakfast in bed. It's for waking up and moving your feet towards that vision we know is possible, peace for everyone. So thank you so much, Chaplain Clementina, for all that you do, for all your love. I'm so grateful for you, and you have it too.
Thank you, Mayor Wu. It's an honor and a privilege to do this work alongside you and to have you represent this great city. Before I introduce our final speaker, I'd like to acknowledge a huge powerhouse behind this walk. For over a decade, NBC 10 NECN has played a crucial role in amplifying the mission of the Peace Institute, using their platform to uplift stories of healing and transformation. Through their commitment to thoughtful journalism and meaningful storytelling, they have helped ensure that the voices of survivors, the impact of homicide, and the stories of healing are heard across the city and beyond. We are excited to announce that on Mother's Day, news anchor Glenn Jones will join us again as our MC for the 29th Annual Mother's Day Walk for Peace. Thank you, NBC 10 and NECN, for your partnership. All right, here's the star. I'd like to introduce a very special young lady, someone very dear to my heart, someone you all may know, a truth teller, a trendsetter, courageously compassionate and consistent, persistent, groundbreaking, unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable, so don't you dare try to stop her. A woman of God, a connector, an educator, a motivator, that accountability partner that you never asked for. A planter of seeds, a builder, a visionary, a friend to all of you, mother to me. It is with great love and respect for everything that she is and everything that you do that I introduce Mom Boss Chaplain Clementina Sheridan.
Thank you to everyone. I just want to express my deepest gratitude to our dedicated staff. Could you please stand? If we have our Peace Fellow interns, our volunteers, our board of directors, and our interfaith ambassadors, and our consultants, please stand. And to our peace partners, which is all of you in the room, please stand. To the survivors of homicide victims, thank you for trusting us during your greatest time of need and for allowing us to walk this journey with you. Please stand. Thank you. I just want to take you down a walk through memory lane. It's not going to be long. The Survivors Outreach Services was founded after the murder of my 15-year-old son. At that time, there were no resources in Boston for families of homicide victims. I left the hospital empty-handed, physically and within my soul. And for the past 30 years, the Peace Institute has provided comprehensive, culturally responsive support services to families whose loved ones were murdered on our city streets. Our Survivors Burial and Resource Guide, first published in 2000, remains the navigating in the immediate aftermath of murder, offering guidance on funeral planning, victim compensation, legal rights, helping with media statements and healing tools. I want to share with you our public health approach to homicide response. Over the decade, we have built a national reputation for this public health approach to homicide response, ensuring that survivors receive both immediate crisis intervention and long-term healing support. We have trained law enforcement, funeral directors, victim witness advocates, hospital, policymakers, faith leaders, educators, and community organizations on the best practices in responding to homicide, regardless of the circumstances surrounding their death. Partnership with Boston mayors. We have worked with every Boston mayor since the late Mayor Thomas M. Menino, ensuring that all families impacted by homicide receive the dignity, support, compassion, and services they need, regardless of the circumstances surrounding their death. Each administration has recognized the Peace Institute expertise and helped shape public policy, city-funded programs, and survivor services. We work with the Mayor Thomas N. Menino on the Peace Initiative in the city, implementing the Lewis D. Brown Peace Curriculum in 1994, where we received recognition from then Attorney General Janet Reno in a 26-page report entitled One City Success Story, where she cited the Lewis D. Brown Peace Curriculum as one of those programs that contributed to the reduction of juvenile crime in the city of Boston. We have established the Survivors Outreach Services under Mayor Menino, with funding from the Boston Police Department and the Boston Public Health Commission. Mayor Marty Walsh, we signed an MOU that strengthened the city's survivor services. We also received the Massachusetts Innovation Award for partnership with city and a nonprofit organization. We established the Burial Fund and expanded trauma response. And in 2020, the Peace Institute, under the leadership of Ms. Stephanie K. Boston, who's the manager of the Survivors Outreach Services, founded the Housing Assistant Network, with Mayor's Office of Housing, a cohort of human services providers, hospital providers, and housing agents that work together to support survivors of homicide victims and those who were shot and survived, to refer them with their urgent needs and relocation. Providers refer cases to the hand and discuss survivors' relocation needs, and housing agents bring their expertise and access to housing resources to respond to the housing crisis. Kim Janey, she continued the city's commitment to survivors. On her watch, she witnessed the first homicide of a grandmother sitting on her porch. So she continued that support services and racial equity in violence prevention. Our current mayor supports expanding survivor services and establishing a permanent center for healing, teaching, and learning in Boston. Under this administration, we have had a Survivors Burial Fund under the Parks Department that was $50,000. With the support of the City Council, it has increased to $250,000 so that families can bury their loved ones without having to raise funds on GoFundMe. Without having to raise funds on GoFundMe. Our partnership with Boston Police Commissioner, we have worked with every commissioner over the past 3 decades, starting with Commissioner Paul Evans, advocating for survivor-centered policing, trauma-informed homicide response, and community trust building. These partnerships have resulted in critical survivor support initiatives, including the Crime Stoppers program coming to Boston, where Lewis was the first case. Working with our police commissioner to implement a family resource officer in the homicide unit, which both of our officers are here today. Could you please stand? Officer Cabral, and where are we? And Officer Orban, thank you. We have also worked with Commissioner, oh my goodness. No, not Davis, not Evans, oh my goodness. Thank you. When Commissioner Ross was here in unsolved homicides, and thank you again for remembering Mary Franklin, who really led that effort. So under Commissioner Gross, again, working to make sure unsolved homicide is here. And the Survivors Leadership Academy, where we're bringing law enforcement to talk with survivors, not to tell us what you think we want you to hear, you want us to hear, but to really understand the process, procedures, and protocols, and how can we be informed survivors in working. Our hospital partnerships, we have partnered with major hospitals, including, and they're here, Boston Medical Center, B.I. Lahey, Brigham and Women, Massachusetts General Hospital. We're in conversation to work with Tufts New England Medical Center. These institutions have incorporated a survivor's burial and resource guide as part of their standard of care, with Boston Medical Center being the first hospital to purchase the burial guide. As part of this work also, we are working with Mass General Hospital to create a quiet room in the emergency. So that way, when families of homicide, when families whose loved ones are taken to the hospital are sitting waiting, they're not in the hallway. They have a designated room. So we will send you more information once MGH unveils that quiet room. The burial guide is an integral part of homicide response. When you have surgery, when you have a tooth extraction, when those of us who are mothers give birth, we leave with an aftercare package. When you're told your child or your loved one is murdered, we leave empty-handed. The burial guide is making sure that no one leaves empty-handed. Under our commissioner also, the burial guide has been one that the family resource officers use that as part of their standard of care. Our partnership with Suffolk County District Attorney has been happening since 1994. Again, we have worked with every county district attorney, ensuring survivors receive critical court support. Through these partnerships, we work to institute a survivor's room at Suffolk County Superior. So if you haven't been in trial in Suffolk County and they have not shown you the survivor's room, please demand that you see the survivor's room. That is something we did under Ralph Martin. Under our current DA, Hayden, we have developed the Survivors Court Preparation Workbook, funded by the Suffolk County District Attorney. This is to equip families to navigate, and it's there in English and in Spanish. Not everybody speaks English. This is, again, making sure that every family, even if a homicide has not been solved, that we are educated in understanding the process, procedures, and questions that we can ask. All of this is a part of our Lewis D. Brown Leadership Academy that we will be instituting in the coming months. So here's where I'm winding down. I want you to hear the process, procedures, and protocol in Boston homicide response. The Survivors Outreach Services team at the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute serve as an external partner and an extension to the Community Healing Response Team. As the Community Healing Response Team is in the room, please stand. They are the front line when community violence incident occurs in Boston. While the Community Response Team support the broader community, the Survivors Outreach Services team works directly with families impacted by murder within that first 24 to 72 hours. Here's the process. The incident notification. The SOS team is notified via network-wide email when a homicide is confirmed. Our SOS manager, Ms. Stephanie K. Boston, coordinates with the network once a formal referral is received from the Boston Police Department, from hospitals, the DA's office, or from the Survivors of Homicide Victims Network. The referral coordination. Once a referral is received, our SOS manager updates our Community Healing Response Network about the case, ensuring collaboration for immediate support, including safety concern if necessary. Our initial intake meeting. The assigned SOS coordinator contacts the family. We do not do cold call. Contacts the family to schedule an intake meeting, often attended by the Community Healing Resource Network and the family resource officers from the Boston Police Department Homicide Unit. This meeting introduces the families to the available resources, provides the survivors burial and resource guide if they didn't receive it, and assists with the state victim compensation fund application. Funeral support requests. If the family requests psychological first aid or Boston Police Department present at the funeral, the SOS coordinator communicates this need with the Community Healing Resource Network for coordination. Do you see the path? Do you see the process? We do not do this alone. Incident debriefing meetings. Leading up to the funeral, the Community Healing Resource Network hosts 1 to 2 debriefing meetings to update the stakeholders on ongoing support efforts. Funeral day support. It sounds like I'm plugging the Community Healing Resource Network, doesn't it? That's what we do, because you are doing the work and you are on the front line. Yes. The Community Healing Resource Network team members will attend funeral, offering psychological first aid and emotional support. They do a lot more, but because of my time, I'm cutting it short. Post-funeral updates. The Community Healing Resource Network reports back to the SOS coordinator on the funeral experience with the family. Ongoing debriefing. The Community Healing Resource Network continues hosting debrief meetings until all immediate needs are addressed, at which point they close the incident. However, the SOS team remains available to the family indefinitely. The SOS team ensures that families are aware of the ongoing Peace Institute services, including Peace Play in urban settings, our healing support services, and the Community Reentry Services program. If a family requires further emotional support, the SOS team makes a formal referral to the Peace Institute Healing Support Services team for inclusion in healing groups or external therapy resources. Looking ahead, we are currently working with our mayor's office to host a citywide briefing on the state of homicide response in Boston, reinforcing our commitment to justice, healing, and systemic change. We are a model for the rest of the country. When I leave here, I will be doing a training for the National Survivors of Homicide Victims Service Providers Network. They want to know what we are doing. They want to know how we are doing, and they want to make sure that on a national level, funding and resources for survivors of homicide victims are a part of any infrastructure. We have come a long way since 1993, and there's still much more work to do. We are also working with our state representatives to host a legislative briefing. We get funding city, private foundations, state, and federal grants. So we want to make sure that we do our due diligence, that it's not just about giving us money. We want you to know how this work is being done so that there's no misconception, misunderstanding once we leave here, that we're going crazy calling somebody because we don't know who's doing what. The briefings will provide exactly that. And then we will create a cheat sheet for all of you when a homicide happens, not just in Boston, across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in your district, that you will know exactly, you don't have to do it, you will know exactly who to refer to in that community, in that community, to make sure that the families are treated with dignity and compassion regardless of the circumstances. Together, we will continue to build a city that is guided by love, unity, faith, hope, courage, justice, and forgiveness, upholding dignity, compassion, and healing, peace for all. For my 3 grandkids, Alexander, Adriel, and Amani, for all of our grandkids, and for the beautiful first daughter. So thank you again. Let's hope, let's continue, and let's do this work together. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. In a moment, I'm going to ask our lovely speakers to come to the front so we can take a group photo. Thank you all. Thank you all for your words. Thank you, co-chairs Cindy and Pat. Thank you, Dr. James. Thank you, my sister Danella, for sharing your heart and for bringing your brother into the space. Thank you, Commissioner Cox. Thank you, Mayor Wu, my co-executive director, Rachel, Luis Antonio. Thank you again to NECN and to the Rendon Group for putting this all together. Thank you all for being here and for making this walk a success. We walked together for 29 years, and every step that we take honors the lives of our loved ones, and it strengthens our purpose as a collective and as individuals. We want to thank you, the teams, survivor-led teams, hospital-led teams, interfaith teams, our sponsors, our partners. A special thank you again to Tom Kershaw and the Hampshire House Hospitality Group for having us in the space, and we look forward to walking with all of you on Mother's Day.